Well, bringing back CJ Moore was not the only thing the Detroit Lions decided to do today. Shout out to my guy, Braylon, and everybody else that continues to DM me. But this came from the Lions Twitter not too long ago that they not only brought back safety CJ Moore, but they signed defensive lineman Kyle Peko to the roster. Now, don't forget, we've got the 90-man roster. That's going to be 90 until right before the season after training camp. Now, originally, I thought that this guy was no more than a camp body, and he very well could be. But then I started thinking, wait a minute. There's a connection. When I looked at his stats, came out in 2016, undrafted. Last year, not only did he play a career high games, but he also played with someone that is currently on our team. So we have a connection there. Well, he's not on our team, but he's part of the team. You'll see in a minute. So in 2023, had 12 solo tackles, no sacks. I don't know if the Detroit Lions are going to use him as a pass rusher, because when we get into his draft prospect breakdown, you'll see the words pass rusher quite a bit, even though he is logged in as a DT. If we look back, first 2 years with the Denver Broncos, he played 7 games in 2 seasons, spent a year at Buffalo, went back to Denver, then Tennessee, Vegas, and then look at here, Tennessee Titans. Played a career high games, had career highs across the board for his NFL career. Now, he will be 30. He's already 30, He will be 31 heading into the NFL season. Now, again, undrafted, but he does have that connection with our defensive line coach. Now, I thought about it. What about like guys like Benito Jones? He's no longer with the team. Isaiah Buggs no longer with the team. How those guys made the practice squad, the 53-man roster. So just because, I'm not going to count this guy out. I don't think he could just be a camp body, but at the same time, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say, if the Detroit Lions brought him in, I'm guessing it had something to do with our new defensive line coach. Maybe he said some good words about him, and maybe he has a chance to make the 53-man roster or even the practice squad. I don't expect much of him, but I just thought that I would throw that out there. Now, this is coming from Steelers Depot. This is before he was drafted. Tried to find some prospect information on him, and this is the best that I could find. This is all the way back from 2016. And this is coming from Steelers Depot. I guess they were looking at him potentially. Says the good, thick build with lower half, and I'm not going to read that, to generate power, forceful punch to stun linemen. How he most commonly wins as a pass rusher. So that's going to be curious to know how the Detroit Lions plan to use him if he has a chance to make the team. Shows strength to hold POA when playing with proper technique and ability to slip off blocks. Decent explosion off the snap. Lack of height gives him leverage. Shows explosion and proper hand placement. High effort pass rusher, there it is again, who has the ability to finish with quite an impact. Versatile, moved around OSU's defense. Above average athlete for size, capable of flowing down the line against zone and perimeter runs. Again, my screen is off to the side. Experience 1 and 2 gapping, athletic bloodlines. Well, alrighty then. What about the bad? Says raw, 1 year of football at FBS level. So much nuance he has to learn. Now, this was pre-draft, so this is that's not going to be as relevant, if it's relevant at all. Struggles to disengage pass rushers after getting initially stuck. Only wins in 1 or 2 ways. Club rip. Has to keep eyes on line of scrimmage. Too willing to turn back versus run. And as a pass rusher. Head dips down on contact as a pass rusher. Loses sight of the pocket and greatly takes away his effectiveness. On ground too often, lacks balance, and needs to keep lower half moving to avoid overextending. Lack of height and length may limit him schematically at the next level. Well, all of those things, both the pros and the cons, may be true, but this guy has been in the league since 2016 now. So he has spent, it always throws me off, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So he's going on to year 8. He's played in every single season of his career, coming off 13 games, 8 before that, 2. So he could be like an Isaiah Buggs guy, a Benito Jones guy. So I'm not going to count him out just yet, but I am curious to know if he does make the team, or while because all of these guys, more than likely, I would say 97% of these guys are going to go into training camp and into preseason, where outside of those 53, you've got like the 40 some, I would say about 40 to 44 guys are solidified on the team. And then you've got the fighting of the last 9 to 14 that's fighting for the 53. And then you have the 16 on the practice squad. So if he's during the preseason is when we're really going to see how the Detroit Lions plan to use him. So, you know, at this point, man, we need all the help we can get. I made a video about Yannick Ngakoue not too long ago. And you know what I love? I love when people use, y'all call me like negative. I love when people use the word washed. Washed is so overused. It's ridiculous. This guy, it's almost like if you don't play with the Detroit Lions, you're washed. But if we sign him or anyone, then they're no longer washed. It's just weird to me how you can call somebody, like, for instance, I don't think Marcus Davenport is washed. I just don't think that he's that guy. He's not the guy that I would have preferred. That's it. Not sure he can rekindle that 2022 magic where he had 9.5 sacks. He did play with Dan Campbell or for Dan Campbell back in New Orleans and Aaron Glenn and stuff like that, I believe. So they got that connection there. And connection with the Detroit Lions is a big thing. So let me know about Kyle Peko. What do you think? Or Peko, however you say it. What do you think? Do you think he is a camp body Kyle, or do you think he has a significant opportunity to make the roster? I think if you add the 53, you got 69 players. So they're going into the season with 90, right? It's 90, 91. I think if you add the international pathway player, but 91, right? So only 21 guys are going to have to find new teams. So out of that 90, 69 will be Detroit Lions. So this guy could, you know, come out of nowhere. He's managed to be on a team every year. He's managed to, and over the last 3 years, his games have increased. I mean, 8, and 13. He went from 1-6, 4-2 to 8, and 13. So, I mean, like I said, man, at this point, I'm throwing stuff at the kitchen sink. I'm throwing stuff at the wall to see what sticks. Just throw me any pass rusher you can, any defensive lineman. I'm done. We just need to get to the quarterback. That's what we need to do. And however he makes that happen, he makes it happen. We'll see what happens when the season gets here. This channel is made possible by viewers, subscribers, and members just like you. My members, if you are watching this, I made a community post for you to go in there. If you see it, well, you should see it. Put in different emojis that you want to see me create. We are up to 70 plus members, so I should have a handful of emojis and I'll get your input to that. You guys are awesome. Take care of yourself and each other. And as always, go Lions.